Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your girl Mercy Artist and I don't give a damn baby, do you really care? I don't really care. Today I'm moving to episode 3 of my amazing life story, Shattered Dreams, Hollywood Nightmare. Moving from a small village in Africa all the way to Hollywood, California to become a star, and how I was beaten with character development. Oh my goodness. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so right now. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my episodes. Are we together? Please go ahead and watch episode 1 and 2 if you haven't already done that, so that we are together as we go step by step by step. So let's talk about my childhood. I grew up in the village, in a small village called Kabura. Now, if you are one of those people who grew up in the village, you already know that growing up in the village is one of the best things that can ever happen for a child. In the village, you are free. You are free to play. You are free to be loud, you know. It's not like Nairobi when the neighbor is like, your kids are too loud. La, 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 la. In the village, children can run around and play. You can explore. You can actually play with mud. You can build your own toys, you can build cars, you can play the way you want. When you want to play with ball, you can take those polythene bags, you can make a ball, you can play ball, you can go to the neighbors' homes, you can play there, you can play hide and seek, you know, those tampo. So life in the village for a kid is really, really good, is actually very, very nice. So this was my life when I was growing up. I grew up in the village and I am a village girl. I am a village girl. I am a village girl. I wanna carry water on my head. I am a village girl. I wanna cook with firewood. I want a village girl. I wanna walk barefoot. I am a village girl. I am a village girl. I am a village girl. So from my understanding, when I was just a baby, like a baby under 6 months old, from what I have been told, I was very, very, very sick. I was a very sickling baby. And 3 children who had been born before me had died. Okay? So when I was born, I was sick exactly the same way that these other kids had died. My mother was feeling exhausted and was losing hope, and she was desperate. So she was trying everything that she could to make sure that I survived. She even went ahead and went to a witch doctor who actually, I understand, tied me with ropes. Tied me with ropes, yeah? I understand that I was having black ropes around my neck and black ropes around my wrist and black ropes around my waist and black ropes around my ankles. And even though, despite the ropes, I was still getting sicker and sicker and sicker, almost to a point of death as a baby. It just so happened that we had a neighbor who was a Christian, and our neighbor is named Hannington Nyakako. If you're watching this, God bless you for saving my life. So this neighbor was a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. Now the SDA people were having a week of prayer, and usually when they have a week of prayer, they go door to door and pray for each house and each family. Now when they went to pray for this teacher, Hannington Nyakako, he said, can you please pray for my neighbor's child? My neighbor's child is very sick. So what I understand is that the church people, the Christian people, they accepted the call, they went into my mother's house, and without even saying hello to her, there was a man of God named Elijah Owuor. He is still alive. Amos Senior Sayogwedi. When Elijah Owuor went into my mother's house, he just untied the ropes. He loosened all the ropes that were tying me. He loosened the ropes around my neck. He loosened the ropes around my wrist. He loosened the ropes around my waist. He just went in. He said, where's the baby that is sick? He saw me. He started to untie everything without even my mother's permission. So my mother was like, what is going on? So he threw all those ropes, those black ropes, he threw them in the fire. And he looked at my mother directly in the eyes and told her, listen, mother, these rocks cannot protect your child. Only God can protect your child. Do you believe that? My mother said, I believe. And he told my mother, let's pray. And I understand that he prayed and prayed and prayed for me. And that was the last time that I got sick as a baby. It was because of me that my family became Christians. Okay, my father was already a Catholic Christian, but it was because of me that my family, the whole family got into the Seventh-day Adventist church. So you can see that from the beginning, I was God's chosen child. Because the things that I have gone through are just extraordinary and just so abnormal that you wonder, like, what is it? I am God's chosen child, and that is why I have had to battle so many battles that are so uncalled for. So I was then okay, and I was growing up normal. When I was, I think, under 5 years old, there's a time that I had to relocate, and I went to live with my aunt, okay, as a young kid in nursery school. I attended nursery schools in Simenya. Those of you who are from Ugenya, you know Simenya. I attended nursery school in Simenya, and I lived with my mother's younger sister. I do not have any bad memories of her mistreating me in any way, shape or form. All I can remember is that she loved me and treated me as her own child. She treated me very well. I was with her until I finished nursery school. I understand that this time I was living with my aunt. My mother was a businesswoman and she had to travel a lot. So that is why they wanted a stable home for me so that I can live with my aunt. Are we together? So after nursery school, I moved back to Kabura village where I was supposed to start standard 1. Okay? So I moved back to Kabura village. And when I moved back to Kabura village, the first week of school, I was involved in a very bad fight with another kid. So bad that my older brother, who was in like class 7 or something like that, had to intervene. It was so bad that when I went home, I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. I got paralyzed. And although some people say it was polio, there was never any medical proof that said it was polio, because they did so many x-rays and some doctors just thought it was polio, but they couldn't find anything. Some people now say that the kid that I had a fight with, I don't know, was whatever, gone to which doctors, I don't understand what happened. But then this thing was really traumatizing to my entire family. There were times, especially when the weather was cold, that I couldn't do anything at all. They had to push me to Kabura Primary School in a wheelbarrow. There are times that I could not even bend. You know, when you are growing up in school in the village, normally you shower in the evening and then in the morning you just wash your legs. I couldn't even bend to wash my legs, and my younger sister used to do it for me. And we have always had a very strong bond between me and my younger sister. Some of you know her. Some of you already mentioned her name on my TikTok. Yeah, my younger sister and I have always been very close since we were small kids, and we are still very close. Okay, we don't always agree on anything, but we are very close. We can always get over any small issues. Okay, so let's continue with the story. As I was growing up, my childhood was fun. I really, as a kid, you don't really understand. You don't understand much. I just knew that sometimes my mother was sad, sometimes she was happy. You know, our best meal was always fish. She could cook fish very well. I did not go to the farm when I was growing up because I was always sickling. Both my parents, and especially my father, was extremely overprotective over me. He didn't want you to tell me to do anything. He would be like, leave my child alone. She is sick. Leave her alone. Tell me what you want her to do and I will do it. That was my father for you. My father was so extremely overprotective of me. My father never beat me once in my whole lifetime. My father always washed my school uniforms when I was growing up. and ironed them. So I always went to school with washed, clean, ironed school uniforms. Yeah, that was my father for you. He always overprotected me because I was sick. So growing up, of course, I had friends, yeah. And if I just say hi to some of my friends, yeah, Anna, Idinadi, Adhiambo, Idinadi, shout out, Ochieng Ofeye, Freddy, Clea, Udinadi. Those are some of my friends, yeah. Aduje. So that is just a shout out to some of my childhood friends that are doing very well in Kenya right now, by the way. Even though I used to beat them in class. I used to beat you in class, you know that. But now you are doing very well. Some of you, most of you, even way better than me. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you, Anna. Yeah? Congratulations, you own a very beautiful home. Anyway, that is not the story right now. I'm just giving a shout out to my childhood friends. I had friends, and I had a lot of favor with my teachers in school because, like I said, I was always top 3 in primary school. And you can confirm this with my classmates. You know, everybody in Kenya says they were top 3. I was actually number 1, 2, or 3 throughout my entire primary school. Yes, I was a very bright student. My favorite subject was always English and mathematics. Yeah. So I love those subjects so much. I really enjoyed my primary school. Now I have a funny story, you know. When I was in primary school, there was this teacher. You know, I'm just in class 3, yeah? Don't laugh at me. You guys know I'm just in class 3. Now there was this teacher that I really liked. That teacher put me to be like a class monitor, yeah, for my school. And I really like the teacher. I used to say that teacher is my husband. He never abused me or anything like that, but I just really love that teacher so much. And I just remember that he was my favorite. Yeah, he was my favorite. Unfortunately, the teacher passed on. He drowned in water in River Zoia when he was drunk. But that is that. I used to have a crush on one of the teachers when I was in class 3. Can you even imagine that? I'm silly girl. Am I not a silly girl? Okay. So what about my religious life? I grew up as a very staunch Seventh-day Adventist Christian. I always went to church every single Saturday. We always went to church every weekend. And when I went to church, I was in Adventurers, then I joined Pathfinders, then I joined school, and I would go to all outings that we could. It is so unfortunate that when I was growing up, a lot of people died. A lot of people died that I knew. A lot of people died in my school. A lot of people died from my church. A lot of people died. And I always attended many funerals as a kid. And when I attended many funerals, we always sang the whole night. We would march and sing, like usually the whole night. And this is where I started singing, actually. Most of the songs that we were singing as kids were really to comfort people that were bereaved. That is why even when I sing secular song, I sound like I'm singing gospel. That is just my roots, my upbringing. Okay? I grew up singing gospel a lot. Yeah, and some of the gospels we used to sing, just marching and singing, Agombanyana gi Yesu, Agombanyana go sana, Agombanyana gi Yesu malo, Agombanyana go sana lwanta. Gi Yesu agombanyana go sana, Agombanyana gi Yesu malo, Agombanyana go sana were. So yes, my life as a kid involved a lot of playing. I love to play. A lot of playing with sand, with mud, with creating, building a house with mud. Just the normal village life, yeah? Going to the river to fetch water, showering in the river, washing clothes in the river, because that was the water that we had, you know. And then when it was raining, that we are so happy and so lucky to collect some rainwater and drink. It was actually a good and a normal life for a kid, yeah. It was a good and a normal life for a kid. I can also say that according to my village and the other people that were going to school, I was well off. Yeah, we were well off because my father was a retired teacher, okay, and he still used to earn some pension. And because he used to earn some pension, I was not one of those kids that were always like kicked out of school because of school fees. My father always ensured that he paid my school fees as well as my siblings' school fees on time, and I never once got chased out of school because of school fees. So I am so lucky that because of that. The only major challenge that I had, you know, as I was in primary school now, was getting paralyzed. And then it happened that sometimes when it was so cold, then I couldn't walk, and then when the weather is warm, then I could walk. I also remember having some very bad dreams about snakes. Oh my gosh. And I would scream and scream and scream and scream and scream at night. So those were the setbacks, those were the challenges. But who in life doesn't have challenges, right? Everybody in life have their own challenges. I had challenges with sometimes wounds, like sometimes just a tree scratches my leg for a little bit and it becomes like a very big wound. So yeah, those are some of the setbacks. But in generally speaking, I had a good childhood. I had loving parents. I had my mother who loved me. I had my dad who was extremely overprotective over me, and you wouldn't just touch me. If you touched me, you have touched my father, and all my siblings will testify to that, that I was extremely special to my father. Okay, so now let's talk about my siblings. I told you guys before, you know, some of you always think I don't have family. I do have family. Yeah, I told you guys before that I came from a polygamous family. My mother was the youngest wife to my father. My father had the first wife. Okay, I want to say thank you so much, okay, that despite all